Okay, here we go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to Carpo's Corner. I'll be your host, Carpo. That's, you know, I haven't made a video in a few days. I made one last night, and I was out in the dark, but I just haven't felt the urge to make one lately because I've been very tied up with some of my own things going on, and you know, life throws all kinds of stuff at us. And I've always noticed over the years that during the times when I'm not inspired to make videos, it's usually a time when something else is going on that's pulling me away, or sometimes it's just a simple vacation, you know, in the summertime. But I really enjoy making videos, so when I'm too distracted but I'm still around, but I don't make many videos, you know, it lets me know that my mind is maybe stressed out or working on overdrive in the background. It's funny because I suppose the reason I wanted to make this video was to talk about stress, and to title it something like How to Overcome Stress, something preposterous, which you've probably seen a million self-help videos and bullshit gurus trying to sell you how to just meditate your way away, you know, melt away the anxiety, melt away the stress, and that's more or less BS. I mean, for a person who's in a moment of anxiety, who needs to relax, deep breathing techniques can help. Meditation can indeed help people. But and I'm not denying any of that. What I'm saying is that people want... Think of it this way. If you get anxious about something and you find yourself having to have deep breaths, or you find a certain herb or something that'll ease that anxiety, that's a great band-aid. But to get to the bottom of the anxiety is the crucial component. This is the alchemy of the mind. This is being able to, you know, transmute some negative emotions into something positive and a learning experience from it. And, you know, me as a human, myself, for example, I'm doing my best as I can as a human. I'm a real person. I talk about just about everything. I'm very interested in knowledge, but I'm also, you know, humble enough to know I really don't know shit overall. I may seem serious, but I love to crack stupid jokes, and I've kind of a crude sense of humor. I like Family Guy, South Park, shit like that. But I have a, I don't know, maybe almost a cynical side to me sometimes. Seeing the world for what it really is, you know, and not being able to make ends meet, or not make ends meet, that's money related. That too, but not be able to make end of it, or I can't remember the term I was looking for, but you know, not being able to really make sense of what's going on in this world other than what others have told me, and the programs that have been forced upon me. And upon recognition of this, which came a couple decades ago, once I realized that I'd been programmed my whole life and that that's okay because that's how it is. Well, I guess I didn't know that it was okay at the time. I kind of fought the programming, and then at one time I said, well, how do you reprogram your own mind? You can't. Everything we do is built on these patterns and archetypes. Back to the old term, you know, on the shoulders of giants, built on those before us. It never stops. Whenever we learn something, it's basically learned through someone else. Very few of us do actual scientific experiments, for example, or come up with these math equations, or find these things in deep space, or if you even believe in space, not to get into the conspiracy realm, but there's been a lot more flat earthers, you know, coming around lately. It's just pretty funny sometimes, but kind of sad at the same time. But I won't get into that. I don't want to offend any flat earthers. Totally different debate. What I wanted to talk about, I guess, was escapism, and how escapism, when we're anxious, we tend to escape our anxieties, and that's okay. Lately I've been tested. My patience has been tested. I shouldn't know, not my patience, my anxiety or depression or how I deal with the situation has been tested. And this happens time and time again. And during those events, even something as simple as when you're driving down the highway and somebody all of a sudden cuts you off and you almost get in an accident. And everybody's had that feeling where you panic, you have the butterflies in your stomach, and you go, whew, and then it kind of takes you a few minutes to kind of regain. Well, this is where adaptogens come in, things like ashwagandha or rhodiola. When people talk about their experiences and they say, what is an adaptogen? That's what it is to me. Because, you know, regulating stress levels means being able to deal with the situation cool, calm, and collectively. And it's not even just that it's the herbs, because that's just one component of a healthy mindset, which is something you have to develop over time. You can't just wake up one morning and decide, oh, okay, I want to feel this way, and then feel that way. You have to work your way into it. And this is your mind's own protection, your own neural protection, to keep you from just flipping a switch and all of a sudden, you know, being a completely different person. You have to ease into your new lifestyles, and so it takes time. And often what holds us back are past fears, which we get into the whole Freudian thing. You know, a lot of the more recent ideas kind of revolve about psychology revolve more around like CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy, and this can be used by any one of us to understand ourselves better, to understand, you know, how can we move forward, and what do we have to offer, and not dwelling on the past or where we come from, but rather moving forward into the future. But you also have to know your past, and you have to understand your fears in order to conquer them. So most of our anxiety comes from these past fears that we have. A lot of people who fail, you know, in school end up being some of the most successful people. And you don't even have to fail in school, but just maybe not be that interested in it. I was always good at tests, which evened it out a little bit to give me C's at least. But I didn't have very good grades, and I didn't graduate. I was like 3 credits short, and I never went to college. But since high school, I've learned so much more about the world and myself. And I found that the older we get, the more wisdom we have to understand these patterns that occur within our lives. Because when we're young, everything's just too busy, too buzzing in our heads until we grow into our 30s. And what I thought about earlier was the fact that I just turned 42 a couple weeks ago, and it was like I was thinking back to when I was about 32 or 33. I went into a panic mode, kind of an anxiety mode. It was almost like my midlife crisis, if you will, but I had it earlier than a lot of people. I felt like I was having an identity crisis, trying to understand who I was, what the point was in life, and how to really embrace it without being deluded by my own thoughts. And after that had passed, it was like I got into Buddhism and whatnot at the time, and it helped me to frame things in a way that I could understand. The basic simplistic, like even guys like Manly Hall or Alan Watts, a variety of different speakers, Ram Dass or Richard Alpert, all of them talking about simple things like change your mind, change your life type of thing, you know, and it's so simple. It really is, but it takes time, and I had to listen to things over and over and over a period of years and put these things into operation to get to the point where I can now deal with a stressful situation and still laugh in the meantime, handle the stress, then go on to enjoy the rest of my day or the rest of my moment, to where I don't have to carry emotions with me. And it's a very empowering thing. I can't explain it, and I don't know how others feel about that, or if you could even understand what I'm saying. But a lot of people, I guess their definition for it would be emotional intelligence. It didn't occur to me until just now. I was watching a School of Life video the other day, and I remember that came up, emotional intelligence. Being able to handle yourself in any situation. It's not about being overly happy or giddy. You know, people who are too ecstatic and too happy all the time, there's something to be worried about. You know, something to be suspicious about, because that's not reality. We all have things that we have to face in our lives. And people who are negative all the time, of course, they have something to work out too. Being a slight bit cynical, maybe a little sarcastic, that's normal. You know, that's life. That's who we are. But emotional intelligence means being able to hang out in a situation, not take things personal, to understand what love and what hate are according to you, and realize that everyone else has their own viewpoint as well. You know? So, it's all about, I guess, setting goals for what we want in life and making the best of what we have. So, that's my video, and hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, well, at least it was free, right? Talk to you all later. Have a good one.